Good morning and welcome to another episode of Miracles with Mary Ellen. Of course, I'm Mary Ellen, and you can always connect with me through AskMaryEllen.com. On today's episode of Miracles with Mary Ellen, I decided to address the topic of truth because so many of you send me emails and have questions, and whenever I have an interview, I'm always asked about, you use the word truth all the time. What do you mean when you say truth? As opposed to when a newscaster says it or someone else. So I wanted to do an episode on truth, and I've done this before, and I wanted to make it a little clearer for you. So hopefully we'll clear a little misconceptions up. And if you have any troubles, please email me or go to my website, askmaryellen.com, and send me a message. The highest truth there is I am the Lord thy God. I am. Truth is. Isness is truth. And I know for a lot of you who have been studying spirituality for a long time, you just got what I just said. And a lot of you probably went, what in the world is isness? That's what I said when I was studying. Truth is not facts or opinions. Truth is like a physics principle. It never changes. It always is that way. Just like I am the Lord thy God. God is always going to be God. That's never going to change, okay? And I have a part of God in me, and you have a part of God in you. That is a truth. These are truths. Now, I know the confusing part comes with the way society uses the word truth. We hear it so many times throughout the day. We'll hear a newscaster say, well, the truth of the matter is this, and the truth is this, and the truth is that. And usually they are just giving facts or opinions. Now, some facts can be truths that never change, like 2 plus 2 equals 4 is a truth. It's always going to be 2 plus 2 equals 4 and forever and ever, amen. Yet if it is something that will change, it is not a truth. Such as today outside Chattanooga, Tennessee, is going to be a little cool and cloudy. And that's not a truth about Chattanooga because it's not always cool and cloudy. That is changeable. There are probably about 10 or 12 universal truths that all truths are based on. And I give these to you a little bit at a time because it's just like anything else. If you eat too much of anything, what do? You get sick. And I don't give these truths out lightly because it's just like, when you have a child come up and ask you for money and they don't earn it, but you give them a $20 bill, or they go out and spend it and they want more money, so you give them another $20 bill or whatever. That's a lot of money. Anyway, and the child doesn't learn anything except, I can ask mom or dad for money and I'll get it. They don't learn the value behind that dollar. Now, there is value in truths. There is a high value. Now, some of the universal truths are things that you've heard me say this before. What you focus on expands, and what you think about happens. And you just can't focus on what you want. You focus on it. You take the thoughts that God gives you to do the work, to create the action, to make that happen in your life. What you resist persists. It's also a universal truth. The more you resist something, the more you are actually creating it in your life. If you don't want something to happen in your life, quit saying you don't want it, because the universe hears you do want it. Let's see. Everything in your life is there because you want it there. And I know that's difficult because, when I was diagnosed with MS, I'm like, oh, great, the MS is here because I want it here. But it's not necessarily that I want it here. It is here for me to learn from. It is here for me to learn from it so I can go forward to handle it instead of it handling me. And I hope you understand that. Only love is real. Nothing unreal exists. Love is real. Anything fear-based is negative and is actually not real, unreal. It's just like, how when you're in a dream and you wake up and you're startled and you might be crying or something, and you think that dream is so real. but it's a dream, right? Okay, it's the same with fear. Quit clinging on to that fear because you're making it happen. We are all connected to Source. That is a universal truth. We are all one. Now, by Source, I mean God. I mean the universe. I mean whatever your higher power is. We are all connected. We are all one. These are universal principles, what I call God's principles of truth. And there are more too. Like you're always only upset with yourself. What you see out there is always in here. There are tons more. And I don't want to, like I said, give all of them to you just to give them to you, because I want you to learn from them. And you also have personal truths. Now, by personal truths, again, I mean things that never change. Such as, I could say one of my personal truths is that I am a blonde, 5-foot tall lady. Well, that's a fact. It's not necessarily a truth, because no, I'm not going to change being a lady, but I might change my hair color, or maybe I'll grow to be 6 feet tall. I wish, but those are not my personal truths. My personal truths would be like, I am a child of God in the universe. I am a human. I am energy, and energy never dies. It is only transformed. And the example I like to give is like an ice cube. You take an ice cube out of the refrigerator, right? Let's say you put it in a pot on the stove. And as you put it in the pot, you don't even have to turn on the heat, and it's going to melt because it's not still in the freezer. So it goes from a solid, transformed into a liquid, and then if you turn the stove on, that liquid is transformed into steam. That is an example of energy changing form. And then that steam, again, can come down as it hits the ceiling or whatever in water vapor. I am one with all, okay? You are actually born knowing all of the truths. You are born knowing everything you ever need to know. You are born with all the knowledge you ever need. They're going to say, well, why do we go to school? Well, what happens after you're born? And it says this in the Bible. It talks about the veil coming down, the veil covering your eyes. And societal teachings happen. And then you learn to doubt, and you begin thinking. And what happens? Christ said 33 times, take no thought. But your ego mind gets you into trouble. And you keep thinking and thinking and thinking. And the devil is sitting on the fence laughing at everyone while God's trying to wake you up through your life lessons. Now, there are stories about children who are born being old souls, and they will say very wise things at a young age. There are also other stories there's a story about a 4-year-old that goes into a newborn's nursery and looks at the baby and says, would you please remind me about heaven and God? I'm beginning to forget. That is a very powerful story. The word truth is used in the King James Version of the Bible only 235 times through the Old and New Testament. They have Christ saying the word truth only 67 times. Of course, he might have lived, said it more. So why is that? And that is because truth is powerful. When you learn these truths, they are powerful. And that's why I warn anyone before they begin studying the Bible, A Course in Miracles, or any big, huge, spiritual, truth-filled book, to be very careful, because truths are powerful. And as you learn them, you will think your life's all going along happy. And then what happens? Well, God's going to test you. And he's going to say, let's see if you've really got it down. Living in truth is not easy. It takes a lot of work, and it takes awareness of yourself every single day. Because if you're hearing it, and if you're seeing it, and if you're feeling it, then guess what? You're the one that's got the issue, not the other person. Whatever you are seeing out there is always in here. That's a huge truth. If you have any questions about this Miracles with Mary Ellen episode, please go to askmaryellen.com and send me a message. Or go there and pick up any of my books. They're Truth-Filled Truth, Healing Words, or, Truth Lives. I'll see you on Friday. Until then, have a great week. Bye-bye.